Your AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety welcomes you to Breaking the Accident Chain of Events. We're going to learn how to avoid some of the most common accidents that occur on our streets and highways. We'll answer questions like, what are the links that make up the chain of events that lead to a traffic accident? How do the individual links work together? How can we break the chain of events? All this and more in Breaking the Accident Chain of Events.
Welcome to Driving Safety. I'm Patrice King Brown.
And I'm John Burnett. Traffic accidents are caused by chains. Not real chains, of course, but a chain of events. Several things that happen together. Let's take a look at an accident and learn how a series of mistakes work together to form an accident chain of events.
This is Harry. Harry drives this road to work every day. Since he's so familiar with this route, Harry's concentration sometimes wanders, and today is one of those days. And that's Link 1.
Construction sites are always dangerous places, and crews work hard to keep them as well marked as possible. But sometime during the night, somebody hit one of the traffic cones identifying this trench and didn't stop to replace it. Link 2.
Paula, a driver approaching in the other direction, is upset. She's talking on her car phone and may be getting a little too involved in the conversation. Link 3. As she gets more and more involved, Paula's speed is slowly increasing and she doesn't even know it. Link 4.
The fifth link in this chain is the location of the construction site. If it weren't on a curve, it probably wouldn't be so dangerous.
Do you see the links coming together? They're forming a chain of events whose inevitable result is an accident.
First, daydreaming Harry doesn't recognize the cone lying by the side of the road as a warning. He wakes up to the need for a lane change too late, so he swerves awkwardly into the oncoming lane.
And Paula isn't concentrating enough on her driving either. She's on the phone. Paula sees the construction site and she sees Harry swing abruptly into her lane, but she's just going too fast to stop her car in time.
If these events had happened on a straight piece of road, there might not have been an accident, but they happened on a curve. The chain of events has led to its inevitable conclusion.
How can we break the accident chain of events?
Breaking the accident chain of events, Patrice, is actually easier than it might seem.
That's right. The chain of events is only as strong as its weakest link.
And in this case, if Harry had been a little more alert, he would have realized that the safety cone was probably in the area for a reason.
If he had simply started to slow down, he would have broken the chain at Link 1.
If the driver who hit the safety cone last night had been courteous enough to stop and set it back up, or tell the police that it was down, the chain would have been broken at Link 2.
If Paula had not been distracted by her phone call, the chain would have been broken at Link 3.
And if Paula had controlled her speed more effectively, the chain would have been broken at Link 4.
Of all 5 links in this accident chain of events, only Link 5, the construction at the curve of the road, was beyond the control of the drivers. The good news is that you only have to break one link in the chain of events to avoid the accident. Just one action by any driver would have stopped the accident.
The bad news is that you're hardly ever aware that an accident chain is forming. But there is a solution. If drivers pay attention and accept the responsibility of the job, most links will be broken before the chains that cause accidents can even begin to form.
Let's take a look at another accident chain of events. This is Diane. Like many of us, Diane is a little nervous about merging onto a freeway, and that's Link 1. At a nearby bar, we find Pete. He's on his way home after a couple of drinks.
Now, he's not stumbling or passing out, but alcohol begins to impair a person's ability to drive long before that person is legally drunk, and that's Link 2.
This is Jeff. Jeff is one of those drivers who sometimes forgets to look before he changes lanes. Link 3. And this is Chuck. Chuck is coming home from work. He's a little tired. Link 4.
It's around dusk when these 4 drivers come together to form a chain of events. It's getting a little hard to see, but some of our drivers haven't decided whether to turn on their lights yet. And those conditions make up link number 5.
Let's see how those 5 links form the chain that leads to an accident.
Diane is waiting on the ramp of the freeway to merge. Pete is sitting behind her, getting impatient, because by his standards, she has missed several opportunities to go.
Jeff is traveling in the right lane of the freeway, bearing down on the entrance, and Chuck is cruising without lights into Jeff's blind spot. Jeff sees Diane on the entrance ramp, and he signals his intention to move over and make room for her, but he fails to check before changing lanes.
Chuck watches Jeff pull in front of him and gets angry that anyone would cut him off that way. So Chuck accelerates to pass Jeff on the right.
Diane has already seen Jeff's turn signal, and glad that he's making room for her to enter, she starts onto the freeway. Chuck swings into the right lane, nearly invisible with no lights. Diane catches a glimpse of him and panics, slamming on her brakes.
Pete, on his way home from happy hour and happy that Diane is finally moving, turns his head back while he rolls forward. Now, he too sees Chuck, but too late. He can't stop and hits Diane from behind.
Chuck and Jeff go on, both oblivious to the incident, with Chuck completely unaware that his reckless maneuver has been the most important link in a chain of events that caused an accident. But which links in this chain of events were not under the control of the drivers?
Again, only one, link 5. It was dusk and getting hard to see. But even at that, if all the car's lights had been on, the accident might have been averted.
Diane should learn to be more assertive in merging, and Jeff should have stayed in his lane when he saw Chuck coming up fast in the left lane.
Chuck's hurried, reckless driving put everyone at risk. And as for Pete, the alcohol in his veins slowed down his reflexes just enough to cause an accident.
The links that made up this chain of events are all too common. They happen every day. No one can keep the individual links from developing. There are just too many of them. The only way to keep the accident chain of events from forming is for individual drivers to break the links around them.
And the only way to do that is by driving carefully,
Staying sober,
learning how and when to make decisive driving decisions.
and always checking blind spots before changing lanes.
And that's everybody's responsibility. Driving Safety is brought to you by your AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety, who hopes that you will try to incorporate the safety ideas you have seen here today into your everyday driving habits.
Thanks for joining us.